So, what makes a strong claim? You need really strong claims for this paper. So, I want to talk about the three things that make a strong claim. Number one is you restate the question that you're answering. Two is you also answer the question. The purpose of this is that way anyone knows exactly what you're talking about. They can jump right in. They don't necessarily need all the background and they don't need to know the prompts, but they understand exactly where you're coming from and what you're saying. And then answer the question. Obviously, we should know what you're going to say to us before we start reading. So here's an example. If the question is, what's the author's purpose in ending Frankenstein on such a bizarre, nonviolent note? Well, the author's purpose in ending Frankenstein in such an unexpected and nonviolent way is to humanize the monster and show that he didn't want to be a monster but felt he had no choice. So this is a great strong claim because I'm very specific in exactly what question I'm answering. In fact, if you notice, you could just take off the question words of any prompt, including the ones for this essay that you're doing. And all of a sudden it becomes a statement and you can just copy and paste that into your claim. So I could just say the author's purpose in ending Frankenstein on such a bizarre nonviolent note is, I changed a couple of the words because I wanted to, but you don't have to. You can just delete the question words and go. So that's a good example. A common thing that gets forgotten is, so these are just more examples, but we're just going to move through them, is being really specific. So this is the third thing your claim should be. So it restates the question, answers the question, and is specific. And this is all for the purpose of making your claim as clear as possible. Someone shouldn't be trying to figure out what you're saying. They should already know, oh, this is the point they're going to make, this is what they're arguing, and I understand where they're coming from before you even start. So here's a less specific example. And it's to this question, how does fear influence Victor's actions and choices in Frankenstein? In Frankenstein, Victor's initial actions and choices are influenced primarily by fear, leading him to abandon and ignore his own creation. So this is actually a really good claim, but what's missing, taking it from good to great, is explaining why this is an important action. So, okay, he takes that action, but that could be anything. Who cares that he abandoned the creature? Well, this is the more specific version. In Frankenstein, Victor's initial actions and choices are influenced primarily by fear, leading him to abandon and ignore his own creation and create a spiral of violence as the creature desperately seeks his attention. So now we see, okay, it affected his actions, and the actions had a huge effect on everyone in the story. So now I know not only what you're saying, but why it matters right off the bat. And that makes your argument strong and snappy, and it creates a good anchor for the rest of your paper. So for writing your claim, go ahead and open up the claim on your synthesis essay outline and start with just restating the question. So do that first. Go through and look at the three prompts. And like I said, you can generally just take off the question words and then take the rest. Just copy and paste it into your claim. However, this third one's a little bit trickier just because it's two questions in one. So you have to take the question words out of both and combine them. So this one's a little bit trickier, but the other two are pretty easy. So go ahead and just restate the question and pause for extra time. And then you're going to add points 1, 2, and 3. And these are just two. You're only doing two. I forgot. You'll add points 1 and 2, which is body paragraph 1, what's the point you're making? Body paragraph 2, what's the point you're making? If we look at my example, you can see that all you have to do is take these yellow parts where you've already explained how it ties to the prompt and just put it into your claim. So, that people only want to align themselves with people who they agree with and they care more about their own ideas rather than listening to the truth. This ties to the claim here. Instead of saying that whole thing, I decided it was a little bit too long. So in my claim, I just boiled it down to social tension. And then here, this one's pretty short. Stereotypes placed on people can lead to devastating consequences in mind and action. I just added so social tension and ignorance of the truth is how I did that one. And makes individuals isolated and depressed. So I just took these yellow sections that I already wrote and added them, copy and pasted basically into my claim, boiled them down a little bit so it's shorter. But that's all you need to do now. So go through your outline, look at your sentences, and just take that last part. How does it tie to the claim? Okay, summarize it and throw it in, 1 and 2. So you've got your 2 arguments with the restated question, and you're good. You've got your claim all done.